They have agreed to pay a $3 million penalty, the statutory maximum. You should have seen the look on his face. He hadn't read this yet.
This is a wild story, dude.
The statutory maximum in order to settle criminal charges in a cyber stalking case where several former eBay employees harassed a pair of married e-commerce bloggers who critically covered a litigation issue involving the company. So basically, bloggers said something mean about eBay because of a litigation issue that eBay was having. So eBay had several employees who harassed them. In 2019, 7, that's actually more than what I would consider to be several, 7 employees, including eBay's former senior director of safety and security,
What?
began sending David and Ina Steiner harassing messages as well as disturbing packages including live cockroaches and spiders, a pig fetus, a funeral wreath, and a book about dealing with the death of a spouse.
Is this a movie about serial killers or
What the fuck is going on here? Pornographic publications were sent to a neighbor's house under David Steiner's name, and furthermore, 3 of the employees flew from California to Boston, sorry, I probably butchered that, with the intent of vandalizing the couple's home, breaking into their garage, and placing a tracker on their car. This is wild shit. This is not alleged. All 7 of them have since pleaded guilty, and Buddy, the senior director of safety and security, is facing 5 years in prison.
Imagine being the director of safety and security specifically.
Dude, this is some mafia level shit right
This
here.
is crazy. This is crazy.
2 other members of the eBay C-suite who were implicated in the matter were not charged, including then CEO David Wenig, who instructed eBay's then chief communications officer, Stephen Weimer, to take Ina Steiner down after she criticized his outsized compensation. Weimer then instructed, Jim Bach, the director of safety and security guy, instructed him that he wanted to see her burned down and to do whatever it takes to make that happen. What? Our discussion question here is like, I don't even know what our discussion question is.
How is it even only 5 years?
I would hear a story like that and go,
That's fake.
All right, grain of salt, right? Like
That's for a bad TV show.
that sounds exaggerated, and a lot of the time, an outlandish claim like that probably is exaggerated or even an outright fabrication. But clearly, people are fucking crazy. Like that is messed up shit right there. What are you doing? What is wrong with you? So it's pretty obvious that even if someone is making claims that seem just beyond what any reasonably functional human would do, right? It's possible. The fact that they pleaded guilty, right? I mean, that's how this works, right? Like they're innocent until they're proven guilty.
Yeah. Then you're like, "Sup, I did it." Unless it's under like some form of duress or whatever, but I'm assuming that's not the case.
I mean, all 7 of them, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it depends. Did the prosecutors go to their houses, send them fetal pigs, put trackers on their cars? Like, is that... what the f***?
This isn't the gulags. They probably were well-minded.
Like, I mean, you would kind of... Like, this is what I would expect from organized crime. eBay's not just some random... It's not like, man, this was in like the early days of eBay when they had some like weird people working there. So This is like 4 years ago. What? Like you hear these crazy stories about the beginnings of the gaming industry or whatever. And it's like, yeah, there was cocaine everywhere, and it was, right? This was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah. How did they get caught?
I don't know, by mailing dead animals in the posts, maybe, like, which is a crime for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds so improbable that if it wasn't for the fines happening and the admissions of guilt, I still would say, there's probably a bit more to this story. It's a plea deal, or it's this or it's that. It makes you wonder, the kind of just outlandish stuff that has gone on over the years,
Pretty wild.
Oh, okay. J Christ 08 says, I forgive you for having the mark of the whatever. And if I recall correctly, they hired a PI who found out that it was eBay because they were tailing them one day.
Oh.
Unreal. That was just their username, by the way. They weren't actually Jesus. Unless they were. I mean, rose once. Who's to say he couldn't rise again?
Okay, so this all this kind of stuff broke in like 2021, but I'm assuming they got their settlement now.
I don't know.
There's like news articles about it.
It's that eBay's paying the penalty, I think.
Yeah, so they're getting their that's wild.
I hadn't seen this.
Wow.
Unreal.
Wow.
Man, it's a good thing they weren't in Canada, because then having them tailed might have been, violating their privacy. Do you see that wild thing? How, Quebec police said, hey, you can't just like upload footage of porch pirates taking your stuff, because that could be a violation of their privacy, because they're innocent until proven guilty. It's like, yeah, I guess they could have been just protecting that package from someone else. But like, yeah, I know, right? They're like, yeah, you need to report.
Doesn't Canada have filming on property laws?
Yeah, you can film it, but they're saying you can't just release it publicly. You should give it to the police.
Cool.
You know what?
Can do
that.
nothing about it.
That's stupid. That is actual clown level stuff right there.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of very cool, should we do our announcement?